We've got plenty of we've got plenty of issues now with we got winter storm warnings now up into much of the Carolinas. Ice storm warning in South Carolina from the central Savannah River region up towards just south of Charlotte. Winter weather advisories stretch pretty close to the coastal counties, as far east as Florence and very near Wilmington. But for the potential for a little bit of ice there, but certainly not to the impact that we are expecting in some of the more populated areas. So let's take a look at our winter storm severity index here. And so this is what we've got going on. Again, we have limited impacts for a good bit of South Carolina, but when we start getting into the minor and moderate impacts for freezing rain is the primary concern, and we get major impacts potentially around Charlotte and in the North Carolina mountains, where snow still looks to be the operative precipitation type, perhaps mixing in with some sleet, and we'll get to those predictions here very shortly. So again, your winter storm severity index, we're going to have we're definitely going to have some troubles from Greenville to Charlotte. Looks like we're going to have some problems up in Greensboro, and then definitely into the North Carolina mountains and parts of the upstate. So let's talk snow accumulations real quick. We're going to start with North Carolina tonight. And again, we've been seeing these snowfall predictions kind of come down a little bit over the day, and that has owed to the potential for maybe a little bit more sleet mixing in and potentially even a little bit more ice. Whereas last night we saw some of these higher totals a little further to the east. Now we're starting to see them really confined to the foothills and the mountains. So, for example, around Boone, you could still see 8 to 12 inches. go 10 miles, 20, go 40 miles south, and it may just be 1 to 2 inches. 4 to 6 inches up towards Cherokee. 6 to 8 inches maybe still around Asheville. So again, the concern right now is that there may be a little bit more of a mix than we have been seeing before. Again, this still could change. So we're kind of getting towards the final call here, but we'll be now casting this throughout the day tomorrow. Now, ice is going to be a big problem. And again, I'm going to urge everybody that's in, anywhere from Greensboro to Charlotte, with all of these, with the potential here for over a quarter inch of accretion of ice, and that is significant, especially when the winds start to come up in the wake of the cold front in the afternoon. And so we're going to need folks to be really ready for the potential for significant disruptions, including the possibility of power outages, potentially long duration power outages. Power crews have been staging over the last day or so in the Carolinas and up the East Coast, because this one is not. It's starting here, but it's going to go right up the East Coast with a lot of ice and a lot of snow over the next couple days. So again, we're going to be keeping an eye on this very closely, but. For those of you, especially in central North Carolina, really, really urge you to get your preparations done. We're running out of time here, and this ice is going to potentially, snow and ice could potentially begin as early as tomorrow morning, that is. So let's talk South Carolina real quick, and again, the snowfall is becoming less of the story in South Carolina. Maybe around an inch or so around Greenville and Spartanburg, maybe up to 2 inches there. You can really see that the higher accumulations are now being confined very much towards the Blue Ridge. So the snowfall is not going to be the story in South Carolina. The story in South Carolina is going to be ice. A quarter inch accretion from Anderson to Spartanburg to Rock Hill to Lancaster, again into the Charlotte metro area. And a not insignificant amount of ice could accrete in Columbia, in Camden, Newberry, Greenwood. We'll have to see a couple things that we'll have to see. Again, how strong is the high pressure wedge, which is it's still a very live question right now, and it may be stronger than was thought when some of these forecasts were built earlier today. We'll see. How aggressive will the warm nose be? Could the models be overdoing the warm nose? Could they be underdoing the warm nose? Probably not. We'll have to see. This is the best possible information that the Weather Service and meteorologists can give without, with the data that we have. So again, we're going to be watching the radar very closely tomorrow to see where mixing kicks in, and that could have a significant impacts on what falls where and how much you see. Now, the other part of this is that there is increasingly a severe weather threat. We have been kind of hinting at this, seeing how this might evolve, and it certainly looks like now, based on current projections, that there will be a low end severe thunderstorm risk from Wilmington to Morehead City to Cape Lookout to Cape Hatteras to Kitty Hawk tomorrow, tomorrow afternoon, primarily as the low pressure system moves northeast and drags a squall line through, which could produce some damaging winds and maybe even a tornado or two. So we're going to keep an eye on that in eastern North Carolina. It looks like South Carolina probably not going to see that enough inland movement with that warm front um, to get enough instability ashore to cause problems. We could hear some thunder in South Carolina. If a deformation band comes together, there certainly could be the risk for some thunder snow. But at this point, I think the main concern for thunder is going to stay generally in that warm sector east of the front as the low pressure system moves north.